The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that make America strong, is because my daddy had an emerald mine. He sent me to every prep school imaginable and then the Ivy Leagues. Oh wait, I read that wrong. It's because of H-1B. Take a big step back and F yourself in the face, says the richest man in the world. On Twitter, a platform he bought, has nothing better to do, like running SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies. Take a big step back and F yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Watch out, everybody. Watch out, we have an absolute badass over here. This guy, there's large graveyards filled with his enemies. He took a picture of himself with a sword and wrote this. The world's richest man, the president, the unelected president of this country, is an online incel. I do not wish to add to it, but will if given no choice. Those who pick fights with me do so at their own peril. But maybe this is their lucky day. What has got a Parthy Karen so mad? That he's going to F people in their faces. What has got him so mad? Well, it might be that the right, the Republican Party, has decided to lean into one of their core beliefs. And that core belief is hating African Americans. No, not those African Americans, these African Americans.
Trump is the new Adolf.
Welcome to the Chud Report. I'm your host, MJ. If it's your first time here, you end up liking the video, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get into it. The battle between the oligarchs and the white nationalists. There is one thing in this country that the left and the right know. There is one fact in this country that the left and the right can agree on, and that is the majority of this country are absolute morons. The left spends way too much time trying to make them less moronic, while the right spends all their time exploiting the fact that they are morons. Libs and TikTok ask, why are so many accounts suddenly losing their blue checks and subscribers on this absolutist free speech platform? The answer, of course, being it's not sudden at all. Plenty of people on the left, plenty of reporters have not only lost their blue check mark, but have been banned from the platform. To understand this civil war of the Confederates versus the Confederates, to understand that, let's return to something we've talked about extensively on this channel. The Republican Party is nothing more than a Frankenstein of very unpopular groups that have combined together, that have caucused together to obtain power. Well, the neo-Nazi portion of that party, the ones who wear their red hats, they're finally waking up. Jesus. They are finally waking up to the realization that maybe, just maybe, they've been played. It may be surprising to you. It may be a shock. But racists, neo-Nazis, white nationalists happen to be not the brightest people. I know. Breaking news. People that have to reduce themselves to the color of their skin or where they were born just to have an identity in this world. I know it's a shocker that those people are not our brightest and not our best. If you have not already read the tweets from Elon, from Vivek Ramaswamy, well, maybe you're in for a treat. You see, before Elon was telling people to go F themselves in the face, something Bobart was doing anyway, before he said that, he let out this tweet. Your understanding of the situation is upside down and backwards. Of course, my companies and I would prefer to hire Americans. We want to try to hire you. And we do, as that is much easier than going through the incredibly painful and slow work visa process. However, There is a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers in America. These people right here. Can you believe it? Can you believe that these people right here aren't geniuses? Can you believe that the people that log on to Elon's app, they get their information, right? They listen to people like Cat Turd? Can you imagine that these oligarchs don't want them in their own companies because they think they are idiots? They think you are an idiot. Now, look, I'm not saying Apartheid Carrot here isn't racist. Racist right down to his bird bones, okay? Both him and that other African-American Peter Thiel, they made generational wealth by sending poor black people into the mines that their families owned. Peter Thiel was even more sinister because he would send black people into the uranium mines where they would eventually get cancer and die. And then he would just replace them with other poor black people in apartheid South Africa. But there's levels to it. And for the dum-dums out there, I made this chart. This part of the pie, the big part of the pie, that's the money and power part that goes into being an oligarch. That's the most important part. Some would say that's the part that makes you an oligarch in a kleptocracy. You know? And of course, before the election, that little piece right there, that was your piece. That was the racist piece. Yum. And because they knew you were cat turd morons, they never told you about the rest of the pie. I told you. You should have subscribed. You could have learned about it. But they didn't tell you about the rest of it, so this is what you thought you were looking at. And ironically, I think one of my family members brought this exact pie. The specific kind of immigrant they told you to fear, the specific kind of immigrant they told you to hate was the ones that picked your food, the ones that built your house, the very ones that then cleaned that house. And to explain this further to you, I want to talk about my hometown for a second. Price, Utah, a Republican enclave made up of ex-coal miners, in Carbon County, Utah. The chief of police takes to Facebook to call the two black people that live in Price, Utah. I think there's only two of them. Maybe it's down to one. He takes to Facebook to call them the N-word with zero consequences. A town with only 4 exports. Coal, I guess 3 exports. There's no more coal. Coal, meth, racism, and, me. I guess I was an export. In 2016, Hillary Clinton, remember her? Glass ceilings, whatnot. Hillary Clinton told coal miners, like the ones back home, that she would give them free education for the jobs of the future, right? Green jobs. And the people back home said, we don't want none of that gay stuff. We don't want any of that. We like going into the hole for 12 hours digging coal. Get out of here. Get out of here with your green jobs. A couple of years later, 2019. Who was president in 2019? Oh, yeah, Donald Trump was president in 2019. Drill, baby, drill. This guy who's wearing a coal mining hat. In 2019, the last mine closed in Carbon County. Not because of regulation, because there was no regulation anymore. Not because of union demands. The unions were stamped out 2 decades before that. Natural gas killed the coal mining industry. Not the kind that comes out of this woman's butt. The other kind of natural gas. And natural gas takes a lot less people. So all these people back home are out of work. Could have got free education. Could have had a job of the future. None of that gay stuff. Now Carbon County only has 3 exports. Natural gas, meth, racism. Vivek Ramaswamy. You see this wall of text here? I'm not going to read you the whole wall of text. It's just a nerd. It's just a nerd crying about being a nerd. It literally is. And you can read we'll read the first part. And all you have to do is read the first part and you read the whole thing. The reason tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans. That's Native Americans with a quote. He's not talking about the Native Americans who are here. He's talking about you, Bubba. Is it because of an innate American IQ deficit? A lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word. Not you. I'm not talking about you. Not that C word. Culture. This channel has talked a lot about Andrew Breitbart, especially, what do we call these? Seasons? This year in particular. Republicans have adopted Andrew Breitbart's philosophy that politics is downstream from culture. And the oligarchs like Vivek have purchased that. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. The truth is in all caps, so you know he's serious. That's how you know they're serious. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. At least since the 90s, or even longer. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad. You know what I mean? Or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. I was on the golf team. I dated cheerleaders. I guess that makes me a jock. This is highly offensive, right? Americans are mediocre compared to the rest of the world. Just take that one sentence he said, just for 2 seconds. I know we're past this. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but let me beat a dead horse for a second. Take 2 seconds and picture any Democrat at any level of government uttering the words that Americans are mediocre compared to the rest of the world, right? And you tell me how much Fox News coverage that will get. A culture that venerates. He likes that word, doesn't he? Venerate. Corey from Boy Meets World. Corey out here catching strays. Or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell. Or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Vivek Ramaswamy here, he's writing this whole paragraph to tell you how big his brain is. Look how big my brain is. But he couldn't even research, you know. He couldn't even research Zach Morris. Zach Morris scored 1502 on the SAT. He got a better SAT than Screech in this metaphor right here. Zach Morris got into Yale, but he opted to go to California University. And they eventually got into politics, becoming the governor of California. But I digress. The point Vivek was trying to make, Ramaswamy, is that people aren't worth a shit to them. They aren't worth a shit to the Republican Party once they get more than a foot away from their iPhones. These people right here aren't worth a shit to them now that the election is over. All of our influencers have now lost verification status, as well as our own page. Our brand did nothing wrong. We spoke out against HB1 visas, and it appears that Elon Musk intentionally shut us down. Is this the new status quo from America's most free social media platform? Yes, it is. And as someone who's been shadow banned on there for a year, 2 years, this ain't new, Bubba. It's just new to you. Trevor Tiedemann. Interesting timing. Interesting timing that a ton of top conservative influencers lose their verification and affiliate badges upon criticism of our illegal immigration system. Elon Musk, what gives? Laura Loomer, seen here. Laura cries out, Elon Musk has removed my blue check mark on X because I dared to question his support for H-1B visas. The replacement of American tech workers by Indian immigrants, and I question his blah, blah, blah. We're losing our blue check marks. The horror and horror. This must be losing your blue check mark on Twitter. It's called X. This must be what communism is like. A world where no one has a blue check mark. And not to give any credit, but I guess losing a blue check mark somehow makes your brain work a tiny bit. Nobody can afford to live off $70K a year in America today. This is Laura Loomer. Stop crying about declining birth rates when you want us to live like a bunch of welfare queens. Can't have a family and keep having more kids while making $70K a year and also working 80 hours a week. That's a pretty base take from a far-right neo-Nazi. Laura Loomer is a troll. As if the whole entire atmosphere of Twitter, it's called X, hasn't ran off sheer trolls since Elon took over. Now, Laura Loomer is a troll. Telling the truth isn't trolling. Read the room, Elon Musk. Read the room of Twitter. The Nazi safe space you created. You bought your way into MAGA 5 minutes after Trump almost had his head blown off in Butler. Remember when you voted for Biden, propped up Governor DeSantis, and you said Trump was too old? I guess I actually remember that. This civil war has me asking, what happens when an unstoppable white nationalist movement runs into an unmovable oligarchy? So the worst kept secret, well, maybe the second worst kept secret, is that this Adrian Dittmann on Twitter, it's Elon's alt account, right? It's so he can communicate, so he can talk to, these white nationalists, these neo-Nazis, these people on Twitter without the news constantly writing reports that he's giving them a platform, that he's amplifying them with his voice. So he created Adrian Dittmann. And all these chuds are super upset that he got Laura Loomer without her blue check mark. They set up a Twitter space. It's called an X space. They set up an X space to cry about it. And in comes Adrian Dittmann, Elon Musk.
Oh
my God.
Mute me. Chief, mute me if this is a problem, but I'm just going to talk because this is insane. Listen,
Go
Adrian,
off,
the reason
Dalton.
why we're concerned about the influence of Silicon Valley is because a lot of them get their thought and ideology from a guy named Curtis Yarvin, who believes that the world and countries should be ran like corporations. I'm sorry, but the United States is not a corporation. It is a specific group of people that came here, colonized it, developed it, and created this beautiful country that you want to call home and that so many other immigrants want to call home. I'm talking about the Indians. They have no home because their home is full of shit, because it's 500 million, 1.5 billion people. Hang on, Adrian.
Like,
hang on a second. I've been listening to you guys talk back and forth. It's 1.5 billion people living on top of each other.
Wow.
Of course, they want to send their quote-unquote best and the brightest, but the question I have for you and every other person who is advocating for this H-1B visa bullshit is, why can't you teach Americans to do the exact same thing that these Indians are doing? What, is the culture not good enough? Are the people not good enough? Is the IQ not high enough? Well, then, you know what? Quite honestly, don't give up on the American people to sell them out to foreign influence. Shut the up, leave it alone. Yes, and I'm doing it because it's Indian people, because they're stinky and they're gross. And I'll do it because they're Africans, because they can't even figure out how to build a bridge across a river. And I'll do it because they're fucking wherever the hell, in Turkey or whatever. I don't give a shit. The thing
so
is,
you
this
just
country,
admitted
Adrian, one more point. Adrian, one more point.
This
country was founded by white European civilization and culture, and that's what makes it beautiful, and that's what made it strong, and that's what made it intelligent. You could say, well, the Asians have higher IQs, but you know what? The Asians built their society, and they built a great one, and I would like a place that is for my people, by my people, and if there's some blacks there,
what
fantastic.
have you specifically contributed to this long founding legacy, sir?
Wait, ask that again.
What have you specifically contributed to the great country? What have you specifically contributed that you believe that you somehow have the right to call other people various weird names based on their race?
I started my first business when I was 16. It was a media company, and I sold it for $52,000. I employed $52,000, and right now I do something else that I'm not going to get into, and I've done.
Now I do something else that I'm not going to get into. These are the people. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on us. We sold our first company when we were 16. This Dalton guy. The oligarchs have the power now. They no longer need this, right? I mean, honest to God, if you hadn't been on Twitter, Twitter for the past year was nothing but amplifying these people, right? Bringing in the worst people in the world and thinking Trump was going to be on their side. That he was going to, push their message forward, right? This is Elon, undercover as Adrian Dittmann, starting to break that umbilical cord.
You contributed to this country, Adrian.
Which country in particular?
This country, the United States, the only country that, quite frankly, matters.
In terms of taxes, actually quite a fair amount. I'd imagine I've
contributed a fair amount. No, not taxes, because we all know that taxes are bullshit. Taxes are ways that they control us. None of the money matters. Let me ask you something. What have you contributed? Adrian, what have you...
Hold on. One sec. Let me stop there. And this big brain Dalton, I just have to say, he says taxes are BS. It's how they control us. This is a guy who wants America to unironically have the strongest borders in the world. Don't give up on us, Elon. Why do you think we're so dumb? Why do you think we can't do the job? This guy wants the strongest borders in the world, and he thinks taxes are BS. Now look, you don't need an advanced, MBA in economics degree on top of it from Harvard, from Yale, to understand that to have the most advanced borders in the world, you're going to have to pay for them. Dalton sold my media company when I was 16. Don't give up on me. There's something particularly sad about dumb people trying to tell you they're not dumb.
Adrian, what have no, you're not going to walk away from this because I answered you. You're not going to walk away because I answered you, Adrian. I answered you, so now you're going to answer me. What have you contributed to the United States of America?
I have literally just stated to you exactly what I've contributed, but your inability to receive this makes me believe that you are perhaps a retard.
I haven't heard it. What did you contribute? What have you built here?
Taxes, sir. Specifically taxes.
Okay, well, taxes.
All right, I don't know how much
is that enough?
The world's richest man talks like, honest to God, if you've ever got into it with an online incel, this is the kind of stuff they say. He's trying to do like a cool voice on it, on top of his voice changer. It's not a very good voice changer. Anyone can tell that's Elon.
Apparently that wasn't clear enough.
Well, no. I just want to talk to you about censorship. I don't want to.
I was the smooth-brained one. Holy shit, man! My brain is so smooth. It's aerodynamically perfect to the point that every insult that you throw at me just slips off the other.
That's very true because you can't understand them.
So do you?
Oh no, I can understand. I just love stuff slipping off of my extremely smooth brain. I just love it so much. It's an amazing feeling.
This edgelord, this online incel, I have the smoothest brain. You can see your reflection in it. He is the pro-tempo president of this country right now. That's just like 4 or 5 minutes of the rift, right? This is a rift that's happening within this party. That thing went on for 3.5 hours, you know what I'm saying? I think just listening to those 5 minutes made us all dumber. I feel dumber right now, just listening to it. 3.5 hours. Imagine listening to that whole thing. Now pull back and imagine that this has been your ecosphere for the past 8 years, for the past 10 years. And now you're starting to understand what's happening in this party. While removing this umbilical cord from the white nationalists by the oligarchs is not going to be as painless as they think it is. The left in this country spends way too much time trying to make people less moronic. The right spends all their time exploiting the fact that they're morons. Trump backs Elon on this one, right? On these visas. So everybody, all these little chuds who say, we're going to go run to Trump. Somewhere else in that video, I'm not going to show it because I said it's 3.5 hours long. Laura Loomer says, well, I'm going to talk to Trump about this. Good luck. So here we are at the rift, right? And I want to go back to the coal miners. The coal miners in my hometown. The oligarchs in this country want them. They want you to despise poor immigrants. And Coulter here almost gets it. American workers could leave a company. Imported H-1B workers can't. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. This administration has promised with all 3 branches of the government. They promised to deregulate everything. The Chuds are now waking up to a new morning in America, right? As Ronald Reagan once said after he his pants. And it even touches my friends, this stark reality that's coming down. One of my friends was passionate about Elon and that birth rate thing. He thought we should have 4 or 5 kids. By the way, he's gay with 0 kids. But as this comes into focus, they want The ruling class in this family want Americans pumping out babies. All want cutting education. They want to import the smart people. And, and then on top of that, I think this is coming into focus for some people. On top of all those things, they want you to go after. They want you to demonize the poorest immigrants in this country. Are you starting to realize it yet, Chuds? Maybe Laura Loomer. You know, she seemed like she was going down a path. Maybe she got there. Let's check in. Oh, look, Elon banned her. So we'll never know. We'll never know if she figured it out. DC Drano, another person that Elon Musk amplified since he took over Twitter. DC Drano contemplates, how did Doge go from let's cut wasteful government spending to here's why we need to import more immigrants almost overnight? Did I miss something? Yeah, you missed an election. And maybe you're missing a brain. We made an episode called You Think You're a Libertarian, You're Not. And it goes right into all this about what I'm talking about. Go watch it after this. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it. What they want, what Elon Musk, what Peter Thiel wants, what Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, what they want is Neofeudalism. Culture downstream from politics, even banning. Someone please notify Child Protective Services. They need to do a wellness check on this toddler. He's talking about Elon Musk. Even Steve Bannon doesn't realize what this second term is about. Steve Bannon, the white nationalists, that whole sect of the party. Your entire movement was a bowel movement. Listen to me, Chuds. You might have had your hands on it the first time around, all right? Trump's first term, Steve Bannon was a huge part. You guys were too. But the second time around, your only purpose is to squeeze out this fascist turd. To get these people in power. And you did it. You squeezed out that turd perfectly. You were the perfect people for the job because indeed you all are shitty people. Now y'all just seem like crazy ex-girlfriends, right? Yeah. The turd is out. You're no longer needed. Good gracious. I came out of Christmas bliss to see an argument about American labor versus H-1B imported labor, and MAGA split over this issue. Good gracious. Good. That means everyone is engaged in saving the country. Here is some tough reality for some of you. Marjorie Taylor Greene's about to lay it on you. There are some big MAGA voices with large social media platforms throwing down their opinions, yet they have never run a company. This is good, right? They never run a company that relies on thousands of skilled, highly trained workers with a constant need for reliable labor, yet they claim authority over the subject matter. When you spend years trying to constantly hire, train, maintain a good, reliable workforce, which is a 24/7. I guess she doesn't really have time to be a congresswoman. It's a 24/7 never-ending cycle. Your real-world experience will produce an opinion based on reality, and all your followers on X don't translate to understand where early exhibit of man is coming from here. You have to understand. You have to understand how she made all her money, what her business was. You see, Marjorie Taylor Greene was the first person to invent the wheel. But in all seriousness, she got her money the exact same way Elon, Trump, Peter Thiel did. She inherited. Greene's primary source of wealth comes from her family's construction company. The business specializes in general contracting and construction work, particularly for commercial projects like apartment complexes. I wonder who they're hiring. I wonder if they ever hired any immigrants to do construction. It's a great big club and you ain't in it. And if you want to go run and cry to Trump, there he is. There he is on the golf course. Tweeting out when people die. That's what he does now, right? Attorney David Rema died. How sad. Or he's sending out a tweet or a truthy, whatever you want to call it. He's sending out one that was obviously supposed to be a text message. Where are you? When are you coming to the center of the universe, Mar-a-Lago? Bill Gates asked to come tonight. We miss you. And X. New Year's Eve is going to be amazing. Donald J. Trump. This was obviously a text message to, I don't know, probably Elon Musk, right? And can I beat the dead horse? Just one more time. All right, one more time. Let's pretend Joe Biden sent out a tweet that he thought was a private text message. This guy, far-right lunatics, this guy is not coming to save you. This guy is gone. He was only the catalyst. He was only the turd you needed to push through. Has nothing to do with him anymore. But it doesn't matter anymore. You see that? You see his Christmas? He's roped everybody off, even inside Mar-a-Lago. Moron-a-Lago, right? He's roped them off. And those are the important people to him. So what do you think he thinks about you? Deregulation, mass deportation of lower educated immigrants. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers, right? Skeletor here was so close. She just needed to take off those first couple of sentences. Nos encuentran nuestros trabajos. I probably said that completely wrong. But, that's what the Mexican immigrants will be yelling to the Chuds. They took our jobs. The Chud Report. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you like content like this, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here a while, want to support the channel, right? As we move on, I think we're like 18 days away from the end. As we move on, 19 days, make sure you become a member, support us directly. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Happy New Year. Chud Report.
Laura, real quickly, he's a free speech absolutist. The platform's supposed to be about free speech absolutism. What is your current status, ma'am? What has happened to you on that platform?
Well, if he's a free speech absolutist, why was my account suspended? Why was my verified premium account taken away from me? So if you subscribe to me, thank you for your support, but you will no longer be able to subscribe to me because Elon Musk has suspended your ability to support my work because he doesn't like what I said. If you want to verify that my account is me and it's not some troll trying to pretend to be me, you're not going to be able to verify my account anymore because I have lost my verification, my blue check, because Elon Musk doesn't like what I said. I didn't dox anybody. I posted publicly available FEC records. I didn't incite violence against anybody. I am simply trying to warn the Trump administration about something that is going to blow up in their face. And it actually has the risk of potentially getting President Trump impeached in his second term if the Democrats take back the House and are successfully able to spin and create a narrative that big tech is trying to buy influence and that they are enriching themselves in the Trump administration. I'm trying to warn them about a serious issue on the horizon, and it needs to be taken seriously because clearly the MAGA base is up in arms about this today.